Hello, YouTube. What is going on? It is your boy GZTV. We are here to talk about the 2017 American comic book film from the MCU. We are here with Thor Ragnarok, here with the third installment in the Thor franchise, and this is the last Thor movie that we will be covering for a while. I'm still dreading getting into Love and Thunder, by the way. My God, I don't know if I even want to watch that movie, but we're gonna have to at some point before the new Avengers movie comes out. I am quite intrigued with the MCU. From here on out, I do think I'm gonna plan on seeing all of the big Marvel releases. Yeah, we'll be wrapping up what I would like to call phase 1 for Marvel on my channel. This is one of 5 movies remaining to close out the older, more foundational Marvel movies. We have 2 more Avengers films and sequels for Black Panther and Doctor Strange, and then we will be taking a break from this universe until next year and probably diving into Game of Thrones. So there you have it. That's just kind of the plans in terms of television for my channel from here on out. A lot of foundational pieces in this film that are in basically all of the other Thor movies minus Jane Foster, but we add the Hulk played by Mark Ruffalo. You guys know him from the Avengers films, although Mark Ruffalo didn't appear until the Avengers movies. You get Cate Blanchett as a villain here. We saw her recently in Squid Game. She might be a part of that franchise coming up with James Cameron. He's making that. This is a fun movie. It really bleeds into Infinity War, and there are a lot of teasers for that throughout the movie. It's basically a calm before the storm, no pun intended, type of movie for this universe. They go with a completely new director for this one, and Taika Waititi, who actually voices one of my favorite characters in this as well, just so you know. This should be a good one. Let's get into it. So getting into the premise, imprisoned on the other side of the universe in a completely different, unfamiliar territory, the mighty Thor finds himself in a deadly gladiatorial contest that pits him against the Hulk, his former ally and fellow Avenger. Remember, this movie takes place after the first 2 Avengers movies, so he's very familiar with the Hulk. Sees him in this arena. It's this dope little revelation type of thing. Thor's quest for survival leads him in a race against time to prevent the all-powerful Hela, who's actually his sister, from destroying his home world in the Asgardian civilization. And there's honestly a lot going on in this movie with the plot, and almost too much at a point. Thor is imprisoned, and then he's not, and his sister gets in the picture. Heimdall is on the loose with a bunch of Asgardians as they seek refuge from Hela. There's this Inferno-looking dude. I think his name's like Sulfur or Sufter or something like that. I can't really remember his name. He's sort of looming in the background of the whole movie and gets hinted at until he actually gets reborn at the end. Hell, you even throw a mix of Hulk and Loki in this thing. I mean, it was jam-packed with things to cover in about 2 hours. Maybe they go a little bit over the top of it. We'll talk about that here, and I will try to touch on as many plot points as I can. I don't want to be talking for like 30 minutes. Don't be surprised if I miss a few dynamics. You guys can expand on things in the comments as well, I'm sure, so have at it if that's the case. Let's go. So starting with the good, I want to go on a character-to-character basis. I do think there's a lot of great characters here, and I can discuss how I felt about some of those. Just starting off, I think Loki's probably my favorite character of the whole film in terms of like an impactful character. Now, there's a few side characters throughout that I really enjoy, but Loki's probably my favorite of this whole thing, and I'm not even going to talk about Thor himself in this video because it's like, meh, whatever. Loki's change of heart and breaking out of his ways, for a god to do that and stop being what he was a god of, was really cool and powerful and made for an awesome moment in this franchise, and I do like kind of like the experimentation that this movie has. It tries a lot of new things that Marvel never does, and obviously Marvel is a very marketable company and they make products, they try new things all the time, but this one is one of the better examples, one of the more successful examples to date. I do like also that they brought in Hela. I didn't care for her character at first, obviously knowing like she's Thor and Loki's sister, she's pretty impactful to the franchise, but she was pretty awesome and served as at least a better villain than probably the elves or the ice people. I don't know. Besides Loki, she is probably the best true Thor villain. I really liked her. Now, we haven't seen what Love and Thunder has, but based on what we have seen critically of it, I doubt anyone is touching Cate Blanchett as a villain here. Also Tom Hiddleston, of course. The inclusion of Hulk and mixing him in as well to sort of prepare us for the Avengers stuff, kind of tease us, that was cool as well. And just the whole concept of them teasing the Avengers film, they have that whole hype to kind of build off of with this movie. So honestly, it was hard for them to make a bad movie with this one, and they definitely didn't do that. Thor and Hulk have always had a nice dynamic throughout the Avengers films, and Marvel Studios saw the critical reception, the positive reviews for those two together, and wanted to basically give them their own movie together. It works out quite well here. There's a few problems I have with it. We'll get to it later. There you go. The revelation of Hulk coming out in the arena as the champion, and that whole scene was awesome, and might have worked better had I not known that Hulk was in this, but still a great moment there. One of the best scenes in the entire movie was their fight in the arena, and everyone's watching, and Loki's like, oh shit, what the fuck? And the Grandmaster's like, wait, why? Why are you saying that about Hulk? It's fucking crazy. The Valkyrie, getting into her character, she wasn't too bad. I didn't mind her at all. I don't think she was a bad character. She wasn't a great character, but I'd still say she was good, funny, badass, and although she started to act a little too intimate towards Thor towards the end, which I thought was strange, she was still a solid addition here, and Tessa Tessa Thompson isn't an actress I'm all that familiar with, but this was a pretty good way of introducing her to me. Apparently she is later used as Valkyrie in other Marvel films, and she was also pretty big already for her role in the Creed franchise, but this is my first time really getting introduced to her as an actress, and again, I think they did a good job of kind of giving her a spotlight, and I do believe one of these Marvel movies is how she got her Emmy nomination. Also, he's a bit of an annoying villain, I want to bring him up as well, that isn't really to be taken serious, but part of me likes the fun that this film has with the Grandmaster, and he seems to be at the forefront of all of the colors and the joy and just the fun you get out of watching this film. He's one of the main catalysts for that, and shout out to a legendary actor, Jeff Goldblum. We've covered many of his roles before because he pulls the character off quite well. I think the Grandmaster is pretty successful, and I mean, he was a bit of a sassy pants and like a weird guy to call yourself, and similar to how Antoine was in Free Guy. Funny enough, the director of this film played that character, which this movie must have inspired that character as well. But the Grandmaster actually had some redeeming moments compared to him. He was like a better version of that character from Free Guy. That movie was great, by the way. I reviewed it on the channel, by the way. He was funny in a weird way, sort of like a guilty pleasure character, but I still enjoyed his character. And it's rare for like two villains to work in a Marvel movie, but here I would say it does. I think Hela and Grandmaster are two pretty decent villains. The soundtrack was cool again in a weird way. I think I just like the weirdness of this film in general. You can look at the movie poster. Does this look like it's supposed to be a Thor movie? It looks like a goddamn Guardians of the Galaxy or even a Black Panther movie. It's crazy. I feel like what people are saying went wrong with Love and Thunder worked here with the goofiness and just the creators having fun with it, and I guess they just took that, ran with it, and made a bad fourth film. I don't know, but here it's amazing. I love the weirdness of it. Just the aesthetic to go along with that. It's quite cool. Sort of rugged, like this futuristic Borderlands mixed with Guardians of the Galaxy mixed with Black Panther. It's just a brain fuck, but it's like really good. I like it. It's got a good look. I enjoyed it. It's kind of a refreshing thing to look at as the movie goes on. The movie was somewhat funny as well, so there's that too. Decent comedy in there. Also, another character I almost forgot to mention, Korg is one of the best side characters this franchise has ever seen, at least for the Thor franchise and damn near in the entire MCU in general. I loved Korg here. Definitely up there with guys like Yondu in that regard. Those are probably my two favorite side characters, just the comic relief and how those characters act. I love how physically he's quite literally a pile of rocks and looks like he would fuck you up, but Taika Waititi's voice is so funny to have here as a soft-spoken guy. I absolutely love that about his character.
I am. Oh, well, I tried to start a revolution but didn't print enough pamphlets, so hardly anyone turned up, except for my mum and her boyfriend, who I hate. But
it really adds to the humor that is quite prevalent in this movie as well, makes for some great moments. And I also just think their utilization of mythology, although sometimes overused a bit, was great. I loved how they brought a bunch of things out, like so many mythological figures. You get Hela, you get Surtur, you get the dog. Those were awesome additions, and obviously like Volstagg and all those other characters made appearances that were in the first few movies. And like I always say with Thor movies, things are done on such a grand level here, which I thought was good. And one last thing, the intrigue for the Avengers stuff was at an all-time high here, even damn near higher than it was for the first round of movies. For one movie basically to hype us up for the Avengers Infinity War, it does fucking awesome. I mean, the whole concept of them going to Earth on a ship with these Asgardians and other random characters, hell yeah, bring it on. I almost want to get this video done as quick as possible so I can start watching that damn movie. That's awesome. So getting into the bad, this may seem weird, but you know how I said I liked that Hulk was included here? Well, I do, but man, about 33% of this movie is Bruce Banner, purely Ruffalo, and I didn't really like that. Sure, Ruffalo's a good actor, and it works when he's with characters like Tony Stark to kind of bounce off like this comedic energy, but just kind of going along with that, Thor's not a super interesting character in this movie. Valkyrie certainly doesn't have the comedic weight that Tony Stark has, and here he kind of waits until he jumps out of the ship and gets pissed off with like 20 minutes left in the movie. To truly bring Hulk to the actual fight was a weird move. Now, I liked how funny he was throughout the movie, you know, his humorous moments with Thor, Hulk smash, Thor go, Hulk stay. Like, that was funny. That made for some awesome moments, just their one-on-one, kind of trapped in this little place. But it's a weird move to wait to actually bring him to the conflict of the movie until the last 20 minutes. A lot of the intriguing stuff kind of fell off for this movie in terms of things like the humor a little bit. I mean, it was still kind of there with Bruce Banner, and just how much I enjoyed the movie dropped when that was going on and when Hulk wasn't getting involved with things. I like Hulk better than Bruce Banner. I'm just gonna say that. I like the fact that Valkyrie had to find out that Bruce Banner is the Hulk. That was kind of cool, and maybe that's kind of the whole concept of them doing that, but still, had this not been an issue and had Hulk just came along for the ride this entire fight, I feel like this movie would have been a little bit better. Honestly, a whole notch better probably. So getting into the okay, I'm honestly just gonna list things here. It's mostly just things I didn't care about and barely just get a mention here. It's like whatever, I'll just put it off to the side. A lot of unnecessary things were thrown into this movie that honestly made it feel like a fever dream to me, like especially towards the beginning of the film, where you have guys like Doctor Strange coming out and you have these like little visions and these little things with Odin, and it's like, why are these things here? Like, I like Odin, I understand he's a major part of this franchise, but it's like, you killed him, just let it go. Like, he was acting like a dumbass anyway. He wasn't even that good of a character to begin with in this movie. Like, sure, he was great in the first two films, but here this whole thing of him eating grapes and watching like actors play his sons, like, what the hell was that? Just get him gone. We don't need him here. It's whatever. I mean, it's heartwarming to have these moments with Loki, Thor, and imaginary Odin, but just didn't need to be here. It's kind of whatever. I mean, you left Jane Foster out of the movie. Why can't you leave Odin out as well? You don't have to include every goddamn character here. I like Heimdall, but did he do that much here? Like, I like Idris Elba. I like Heimdall a lot, but he wasn't necessary either. Surtur was whatever. Most of the cameos in here are whatever, and I'm just now noticing that Matt Damon made a cameo here. One of the Hemsworth brothers made a cameo here. It's like, okay, whatever. I don't know why those were necessary. One last thing. I love Carl Urban also, but the Executioner, or whatever his actual name is, he's a cool character, but he didn't need to be here either. So just a lot of unnecessary things to put in the okay. So getting into the review, we can pull up that tier list, and this may seem deceiving and weird, but I didn't really get the hype for this one. I know I praised it all sorts of times, and the good overwhelmingly takes over the bad and the okay, but it's just not as good as people make it out to be. Most people would put it a whole point or two above what I have it at, and speaking of what I have it at, I'm gonna give it a 7.4 out of 10. And it is kind of toxic that I just came back from watching one of the more successful, one of the better films in the entire MCU with Black Panther. Go check out that review, by the way. But you get into this and it's just not that special. I mean, there are some great parts about the movie, but there are also parts that just did nothing for this universe, I don't think. A lot of weird characters were introduced who didn't seem to have much importance to the overall trajectory of the MCU, and it's another one of those movies that sort of just exists for Marvel, and that's about it. I'm fine with it. Like, it's a good transition piece into the Avengers films. It's kind of whatever. It's gonna be forgettable because of those movies. It was a bit of a downer compared to a movie like Black Panther or even Black Widow, damn near. I mean, the internet may kill me for this, but I just don't see the hype about it. It's just okay. It does what it needs to do. It's got that satisfying thing to it. 7.4 out of 10. That's perfect for that. It's a solid way to transition, but that's all it is, really. Not something monumental for this franchise like people are making that out to be. People need to know the role of this movie, and it's not to be a huge piece in the franchise. So with that being said, I am out, guys. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, it has been your boy GZTV, giving you guys these movie reviews. We are zooming through the MCU. I'm getting through this a lot quicker than I thought I would, especially considering I have school. We've been covering about 2 or 3 of the movies a week, so we should be done with this, honestly, by the end of next month, which is super exciting because I can get into some other things. It's been a good ride. Stay along with me. We still got 4 more movies to go.